Now guys, I am all about an easy dinner party where when guests arrive, I'm in a good mood, the kitchen is clean, and I've made a fabulous meal. Now in the kitchen with me today is Nanda. Now Nanda is indeed a brilliant cook, are you not?
Yeah, sure.
So you say that your skills are not that great?
No.
No. And you're wanting something quick and easy to dazzle and amaze your partner and your guests.
100%.
You've come to the right place. Now, Nanda and I go way back. She is actually my CrossFit coach. Was I ever any good? Is there any hope?
You were the life of the party. Let's say that.
Yes, and nothing has changed. In fact, so much so that I made you this.
Thank you very
So this
much.
is my gin and blueberry cocktail. I made it with soda because we don't want the extra sugar. So cheers. You see, when we're cooking for a dinner party, we should actually be happy and not crying and drinking excessively. So what I'm going to show you today are some beautiful little ideas that you can do. And now you're vegan as well.
Yes.
So vegan dinner party inspiration, not only if you're catering for everyone that's vegan, or just if someone in your family is vegan, this is going to become very handy as well. Now, you do not need to have a lot of equipment. Of course, I've got equipment galore, but I've got my little air fryer out today, and I've also got my oven preheated, so you can use whatever you have. And I think you said you had an air fryer.
Yes.
Now, they are very convenient, very trendy, and very quick and easy. So we have today Exhibit A cauliflower. Okay, do you like cauliflower?
I do.
Okay, so cauliflower is very trendy at the moment. It's very nutritious. It is not always cheap, but you can get them obviously at your local markets and things like that, and they are very economical. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a whole roast cauliflower. Now, I do a whole roast cauliflower because I'm too lazy to cut it down.
Extra gains, I like it.
Exactly, extra gains. So we don't want to be working too hard when we have a dinner party. It should be fun, like I said in the beginning, it should be fun and easy. So I've got two smaller ones here because we are doing these fresh, and I want you to taste these before the end of our little episode here. And these should cook down in about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, either in the air fryer, which I'm going to put on a 200-degree setting, or just in a good old-fashioned oven. Now, lo and behold, if you had to, I suppose you could shove it in the microwave as well, but it's not going to go brown and sexy. Okay, so we have our cauliflowers. Let me just rinse those quickly so that they are nice and delicious. And Nanda, has anyone ever made you spray tan a cauliflower before?
They have not. Today's the day.
Is this your first time?
It is.
Okay. Now, there's two ways we can do this. Like I said, we can either pop these in the air fryer, or if you're wanting that little bit of theatre when you bring this beautiful dish out to the table, I would recommend doing this in a sexy frying pan. Now, I've got, you can get a small frying pan that would fit this perfectly, one of those teensy-weensy ones. They're adorable. But I've got this pretty blue one because, as you can see by my whole kitchen and my outfit, that is my favorite color.
Eyes.
Yes, and the eyes. Yeah, I planned the whole thing. So we're going to pop these two in there. Now, when I talk about a spray tan for cauliflower, I'm talking about spices. So spices, to me, add color, they add flavor, and they add personality. Okay, to our cooking. All right. So I've actually got a product range, and I think you've seen this because you've been to the cooking school before.
I have used it.
But of course, you could just whip open your spice drawer and you can make your own spray tan. So a base of a spray tan generally could be a turmeric, a paprika, something that's going to give that lovely golden glow. Now, we've rinsed those off, but what we need is a little bit of beautiful extra virgin olive oil. Now, olive oil, I always sniff everything before I use it, okay?
Check that it hasn't
I
gone
sniff it
off.
because it is very traumatic, and a lot of people wonder why their cooking is no longer tasting amazing, and it's because they have olive oil or spices or nuts that are past their sell-by date, all right? And I'm not going to say sniff your nuts, although you should, because you want to make sure that they're nice and fresh. There's nothing, have you ever had a stale pine nut served to you?
No, I don't think so.
You're one of the lucky ones, because I have, and I was really offended, and I was confused, all right, because it's such a simple thing not to do. So we've got some nuts here. I've got pine nuts, I've got little sunflower seeds or pepita, and I've got only the best for you, expensive pistachios.
Thank you.
All right, so pistachios are one of my favorites. You can see they are bursting with color, and when I grate this on my little microplane, I get a beautiful green like a snow, like a pistachio snow. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do with our lovely fresh extra virgin olive oil, so if it smells old and rancid, it is old and rancid. Do not proceed. I always say regift it and give it to someone who doesn't know any better, and get yourself some fresh stuff. Now, of course, you could use, I've got a lemon-scented olive oil there, but of course you could just use any one you want. Now, this is my culinary spray tan. It's a Ras Al Hanout, so don't sniff too hard. But it's a little spice mix, and it's a North African or a Moroccan spice mix. So if you said to your guests, come on over to my place, I'm doing a Moroccan baked cauliflower, they would definitely pitch for that dinner party.
They'll be impressed.
They will be impressed. All right, so you already had them at hello, but then you need to deliver on the Morocco.
Yep.
So they need to smell it, taste it, and see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when we've done that with the cauliflower, we can't roast dry spices because they will burn and become bitter. So I've got that oil on there. I've got this cute little paintbrush, and we are just going to basically, if you can just spray paint or spray tan that cauliflower, and I'll add a little bit more moisturizer there. All right, and don't worry about if you miss any of the bits, it will be absolutely fine. Now, while my beautiful assistant is doing that, we have the pine nuts, the little sunflower seeds, and the pistachios. Now, of course, you could roast these in a pan, so just in a frying pan over a gentle heat, and you can roast these, but I'm going to throw them into my oven, which is set at about 220 degrees for about 5 minutes. Now, it's a very expensive mistake if you end up just getting distracted and burn those, because it can be very expensive. So all we're wanting is, when these nuts are beautiful and fresh, they are gorgeous, but if we roast them, they will taste $10 more expensive. So now these are actually ready, and I think we should have a drink. Well done.
Cheers.
Very good. Okay, there's always time, because this is really easy. Now, like I said, we could pop that in the air fryer, and you would do it for about 15 minutes, because that's quite small, at a setting of 200. But I'm going to pop those into our oven, and then I'm going to show you what we are going to serve with this, because do you like carrots?
I do.
Yes. Now, do you like sexy roast carrots?
Even more so.
So all I did, have a little sniff, is I peeled some carrots, and then I popped a little bit of olive oil over, and I literally put them in the air fryer for about 10 minutes, just a little bit earlier, because when I'm using that food processor, I need them to be cold. Okay. So this is fantastic for leftover carrots, or any sweet potato, butternut, pumpkin, or anything that you have left over can become a very glamorous puree, and no one has to know you were cheap and that you use the leftovers out of the fridge.
Excellent.
Cheap and easy, my two favorite things. I'll pop those in the oven. So we actually swapped the cauliflowers for the roasted nuts. Now, we can smell this. You guys can't smell this, but they are smelling $10 more expensive than the unroasted ones. So I always recommend roasting. And if you want to do your meal prep, because you're a busy lady,
very busy,
lots of training,
yes.
So you might on a day decide to roast some nuts, and then you can keep it in a little airtight container, either in a little bag or in a container in the fridge or freezer. And then in a couple of weeks, when you've got a boring dish, you could put your lovely, throw it on, and it's all ready. I'm all about prep, and I'm all about secret stash in the freezer so that I do look good on a rainy day. So these here, we can mix those together. Now, with our Moroccan flavor profile, we are going to do a carrot puree. Now, with those carrots, we're going to blend those down using some coconut cream and a little bit of our matching spice mix. So I am going to throw a little bit of that Ras Al Hanout in there. And with the coconut cream and the carrots, I might have to add a little bit of water, just like when you make a smoothie, just to make it a nice consistency. Because what we want with our beautiful cauliflower is, when we bring it to the table, we need accompaniments. That's a chefy term for side dishes. And we need some beautiful accompaniments, but we don't want to be stressed. So this is something you can make in advance. Okay. Now, with our lovely roasted nuts, Moroccan food can have something sweet. So things like dates, dried figs, even apricots or peaches would be perfect with this. Yeah. I'll go grab us some gorgeous dates. So I actually also got us some fresh mint out of the garden, and those are the chopped dates. Now, dates, you can buy any dates you want. I've chopped those up with my kitchen scissors. So if you want to pop these nuts. Now these, we've cooled them down a little bit. If you can just pop a few of them into there, and I think you should, let me get you a nice little spoon. You should be able to pop those in there. Now we don't want to blend them while they're hot, so cool them down and then we'll food process them and just put them into that little container. So while you're doing that, I will chop down our lovely mint with some nice kitchen scissors, and of course you can chop it on a board as well. But I've also got these edible flowers. Now, you know that I put flowers into all my food.
Yes.
I think it makes your guests think that you've tried really hard, and they actually sometimes get jealous of your skills. So I actually grow petals in my garden. So that's a little dianthus. All right, and you've probably seen them on your neighbour's verge when you're walking your doggy.
Yes.
Yes, so we could just maybe ask them if we could have some of those.
Steal
and
a few.
yeah, and this is just that little chefy, that little makes it look more expensive.
Sexy.
So a little, yeah, sexy. We want people to, you know, think that we've worked extra hard, and we want to take credit for it. Okay, so that's very important as well. We need to at least get a round of applause when we serve this. So we have got the cauliflowers in the oven. So while they're in the oven, this is the perfect opportunity for you to do your prep. So,
I thought you were going to say have a drink.
oh yes, sorry. Cheers. See, I knew that's why I invited you along. There we go. So we've got the cauliflowers in the oven. We have had a sip of our drinks. We're feeling cool, calm, and collected. While the cauliflower's in the oven, you have the opportunity and the timing to get everything else ready. So it's actually quite a quick dish to make if I didn't talk so much. So what we've got is the carrots. We've got, and I use food processors because it makes me look very efficient in the kitchen. And so we've got our nuts, we've got our carrots, and then we've got our beautiful dates with the petals. Now for this beautiful fresh mint, and I've got mint and basil there because that's what I had in the garden. I'm lazy. I use my kitchen scissors just to snip that down. So if you can finish snip, snip, cut with that. And then what I'm going to show you how to do is just with our lovely carrots here. We're going to basically make like a carrot puree. So what I've got is some beautiful coconut cream, and you can see how thick that is. Now, of course, if you don't like the coconut cream, you can add any alternative cream that you want, like you could do an almond milk or anything like that. You could also just use water or even a vegan or vegetarian stock. What we're going to add into there is just a little bit of our matching spice, and literally just because it's going to be raw, I'm only going to add half a little teaspoon there, and then just some water so that we get a lovely consistency. Now, like I said, this could be done in advance. That doesn't look very sexy at the moment, but I promise it will. I'm going to do the nuts first. So there'll be a little bit of a noise, and we just want like a nut gravel here. Don't go too fine. You can actually make a paste out of that if you really blended it and continue to blend. So that's it.
Easy.
All right, so this should smell absolutely glorious. Oh, it's really good. And then because this is going to wet that, now this is not very sexy at the moment, but it will be. It's like making a margarita. So that there is nice and smooth. Now, if you want it to go really, really blended, just leave that machine on a little bit. I'm going to add some of that beautiful lemon olive oil and just pop it back on to blend for a second time. So noisy, but worth it. So this here, we are going to serve as part of our beautiful dinner party main course. But if you had gone overboard and you made a lot of carrot puree, what you could do is a couple of days later is we rehash this, and no one has to know that you were clever. And you could put it into a beautiful bowl as a dip with some beautiful extra virgin olive oil again, some of our lovely nut dust, and you could serve it with crackers for your next dinner party.
Love that.
Because you'd have to have one 2 days later. So we can rehash that, and also you could also make it into a soup.
Yeah.
So if you put a bit of veggie stock through there and extended it and served it hot with a swirl of coconut cream on, you could keep using your carrots for the rest of the week. So let us grab those lovely cauliflowers out.
Yep.
And then I'm going to show you how to serve this. So the cooking was too easy, and you actually just said to me off screen, Mel, this is too easy for someone of Mel's skill. Did you not say that? Yeah, it's actually too easy. But the point of difference is knowing how to plate confidently.
Right.
Now, I know how to plate confidently. I fully expect when I put food down in front of people, I fully expect a round of applause, or for them to whip out their cameras and start taking photos, because then I know I've worked hard, so don't forget. But it's all about presentation, and I know that sounds chefy and you're starting to look nervous, but it's really easy, and that's the how you're going to win them over.
Okay.
All right, and get your confidence in the kitchen.
Excellent.
So let's get that plate.
Wow, it smells good, doesn't it?
That smells amazing. And look, we're still in control, nothing difficult about that. So the way to test these and make sure that they are done, I give them a little wiggle, but it's okay if they're slightly firm inside, because they're actually going to eat better. You do not want to cook this for like 7 hours and it falls apart. So this can come to the table like that, but we have our beautiful bling. So what we're going to do now is dress that up. I know we put a bit of oil on before we roasted it, but just a little bit more so it looks like it's nice and glossy like a movie star. I'm going to put on our fancy date bling here, but what I'm going to do is mix it with some of the toasted nuts. Now this could be brought to the table separately, and all of your guests could actually put this on themselves. It's that little bit of theatre, you know, a bit of interaction, you know, and less work for you as well. But if you're going to take a photo, then we would have to pimp these up, and we're going to put all of that glorious bling, I call it culinary bling, okay, on top there, and that could come to the table just like that. Now, of course, you could use a store-bought dukkha or anything like that, but we have it right here. Let's use it. Now, I did brag to you that I was going to show you how to plate. So if you give me that beautiful plate over there, yes. Now, if you look in that bottom drawer there, there'll be a little saucer. When we're dishing up, especially with blobby yellow stuff, your biggest concern should be, I do not want a mess on the side of the plate. You've seen all the cooking shows when in the last 2 seconds they're cleaning.
Frantic.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. All we need is one of these, and I call it a transporter plate, because any naughty blobs will be caught on there, and look how efficient and chefy I look.
Genius.
You see, genius. And this could be for pasta sauce, it could be for anything, and of course you could bring that closer, but this is much more chefy.
Yes.
Yes.
Much
So
more fancy.
yeah, very, very fancy. So what we're going to do is a little elegant little puddle of our puree on the bottom there, and you can see that that is a lovely texture. Now, of course, in some chefy shows, they will make you put your purees through a strainer. I don't have time for that, okay? We're busy people. So I don't mind that it's slightly rustic over there, but our machine has given us a beautiful puree. Now, at the table, of course, we could carve this. You could either carve it straight through, and look at that lovely tender cauliflower, or we could cut it into dramatic little wedges, okay? That is quite hot. So I will practice what I preach and use my little transporter plate just to get it there in one piece. So that there is a very elegant little dish. Now, if you're going to serve this plated up, again, I would just dress it with our dramatic little culinary bling there, and I'm just wanting a few of those nuts extra. Now, we've got a very fine gravel there. You very cleverly left us some of the whole ones, so that there's that little bit of texture. It's all about texture. So we've got not only color, we've got also flavor. Flavor is very important, but texture is also important. I always say, if that's all soft, it's like old age home food. And obviously, we are not ready for an old age home just yet. So that would be a lovely, elegant dish. And Nanda,
Please.
this is for you.
Thank you very much. Do I get to try?
Yay! You do get to try it. So, do you think this is something you could make again?
I actually do think I could, yes.
There we go.
I do.
Now, don't forget to season it just before you serve it. And I'm using my fancy little salt snow technique.
I didn't think there could be so much flavour in cauliflower, you know?
Exactly.
Wow.
So we've just made cauliflower sexy. There we go. I'll drink to that. In fact, I'll drink to anything. So.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy cooking.
Yes, thank you.